Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. Hope you had a lovely Memorial Day. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. How are you guys today?
I am doing great, Jenny. Went for a drive up to PCH yesterday, so I'm feeling refreshed. I am great.
Jenny, it's very foggy here in Los Angeles, which actually provides the perfect backdrop for most of Shannon's arguments, which are foggy.
Yeah, you can hide in that fog, but that's okay. I know where you are.
Oh, really? Interesting. Good to know, guys. We have a packed show today, and I feel like it's only appropriate we begin by discussing the latest with the Dallas Cowboys, because negotiations continue between Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones, but now some teammates are talking. All-Pro linebacker Sean Lee said that he, along with the whole Cowboys locker room, are huge fans of Dak. Despite this, there has been little to no movement in a long-term deal for the quarterback. So, Shannon, how will it play out in the locker room if Dak holds out through camp and maybe into the season? How does that affect the team?
Well, I expected Sean Lee said exactly what I would expect him to say. There's nothing to dislike about Dak Prescott. Now, although I have not been around him extensively like Sean Lee has, the little bit I've been around him, he strikes me as a guy that prepares, that study hard, one of the first ones in the building, one of the last ones to leave. He's the consummate teammate. He's constantly rooting guys on. And he's been there. They've seen this guy, Skip, come in as a fourth-round draft pick with the expectations. It's not an easy job. It's not easy playing quarterback. It's not easy playing for what many perceive as America's team, which are the Dallas Cowboys. And he's come in there and he's passed this test thus far with flying colors. And Skip, they've watched Dak Prescott sit by patiently and watch player after player after player get paid. And all he's done was continue to go out there and perform at a very high level. And everyone in the locker room knows that he's vastly underpaid. But they also know that his time is going to come. And as he has been supportive of them getting paid, they will be equally as supportive of him getting paid. And Skip, you remember 2 years ago when the Le'Veon Bell, I said, Skip, I've played 14 years and I've been in a lot of locker rooms. I said, I've never seen a situation like this, because one of the things that you don't do in a locker room is speak on another man's money. But I just wanted to make sure, Skip, because just because I played in locker rooms doesn't mean I've encountered every situation. So I got on the phone and I called a lot of my friends that were in locker room, some in the Hall of Fame, some not in the Hall of Fame. And they like, and Toy Man, Skip, they're like, Sharp, I've never seen anything like this. They said, even if you don't like a guy, you normally publicly put on a very positive face and root for the guy to get paid, because at the end of the day, we're all in the same situation, Skip. We're all players. There's somebody upstairs that's paying us. And we know when it comes down to it, they would rather pay us less than pay us more. So it was very strange. And we saw what it did to their locker room, Skip. It was the beginning of the end of it unraveling, because you saw the Le'Veon Bell situation and later the Antonio Brown situation. So Sean Lee said what I expected him to say, because Dak has been a model citizen, played very well, been very supportive of other guys getting money. Now it's his turn. They will be equally supported.
Shannon, it's been a long time since you actually played in the NFL. Today's players are very different than the guys you played with, the guys you share the Hall of Fame with. New age, new way. So my fear is that if this goes where I think it's heading right now, I think there's high possibility that slowly but surely this locker room will turn on a young man that they love, believe in, honor, respect. That's Dak Prescott. Shannon, I've told you from the start, I don't like where we're heading with this. Yes. I told you from the start, Dak is highly respected in that locker room. Yes. He has become the face and the voice of this franchise. And I love him for that, and this team loves him for that. He does work hard. He has low ego, no diva, all of the right ingredients to be the leader of a potential Super Bowl team in Dallas, Texas. But this is a new day, a new age with new jealousies and resentments that can build quickly in a pro sports locker room. So, Shannon, what have we seen already just in the last 6-8 weeks? We saw battle lines drawn already in a shocking new way between Dak and Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. Remember the night that the police were called? I suppose one of Dak's neighbors thought he was violating the fewer than 10 people at your party rule. Remember that when the police got called to his house? Okay, and that he was violating any sort of new social distancing policy by having far more than 10 people over. And on Stephen Jones' radio show the next Monday, Stephen bluntly said that will never happen again, indicating that he had talked to Dak, sort of, if you will, slapped him on the wrist and said, you cannot do that as the face of this team and the leader of our franchise in this quarantine. And Dak fired back, shots fired, by issuing a statement, not through the Cowboys, he issued it to USA Today Sports. And in it, he said that the information in the report's completely inaccurate, and basically took a shot back at Stephen like, how dare you call me out publicly when you wrongly called me out publicly? So that was the first time I sat back. I told you right here on the air, battle lines are drawn in the sand now. It looks like they're quote unquote going to war. This is Dak Prescott. I thought he was team first, and now he's missing, obviously, the virtual OTAs, which could lead to missing training camp, however much there is of it, and preseason games, however many there are. And it could lead to a Le'Veon-type situation in which by July 15th, Dak says, I don't want to play under this franchise tag, 31.4. I want my money. I want big money. I keep telling you, I believe that he and his new agent want $40+ million a year and maybe up to $150 million total guaranteed. It's so much more than anybody in the locker room has even thought about making, that it could start causing a little friction if the leader isn't there for them during training camp when everybody is saying, hey, Dallas got a shot next year. Dallas had a great draft. Dallas had a very good offseason. Dallas has a pretty good chance to go far, go deep in the playoffs, but not without their leader. If he's not there for the new coach, Mike McCarthy, in training camp, they're going to be so far behind that they're going to get off to a bad start. And especially if he starts missing real games because he's drawn a deep line in the sand with Jerry Jones. Well, again, I like Andy Dalton, but I don't want to see it come to this because it could be team splitting, team wrecking. Again, you would probably love it. But you just gave me Exhibit A of team wrecking, and it was the 2018 Steelers. And I'm so happy you brought it up because I looked up the quotes last night from Ramon Foster, the player rep for the Pittsburgh Steelers, a veteran offensive lineman. Guess what he said? Ramon Foster said of Le'Veon Bell, here's a guy who doesn't give a damn. I guess that's how it is, so we'll treat it as such. I just hate it that it came to this. He's making 7 times what I make, twice as much as Al Villanueva makes. And we're the guys who do it for him, who block for Le'Veon. And then Marquise Pouncey, these are veteran star offensive linemen. He chimed in and said, honestly, I think it's a little selfish. I'm kind of pissed right now, said Marquise Pouncey, who then concluded, obviously, it's Le'Veon over the Steelers, and we are the Steelers. Wow. I never thought I'd hear that from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought they were veteran, solid, unified, great coach, Mike T. I thought that veteran offensive line would hang together behind Le'Veon Bell. I thought they liked him. I never heard any animosity. And all of a sudden, they flat out turned on him. And I'm just saying, Shannon, I know you say, well, the linemen all got their money in Dallas. Yeah, they got some money. It's good money. It's not quarterback money. Just for the record, Zach Martin he'll make $11 million next year. Ty Smith will make $10 million. Lyle Collins will make $10 million. Then you go all the way down to a Connor Williams who'll barely he's a little under $1 million. All of a sudden, Dak wants 40? Wow. So he'll be thrown to a Michael Gallup who makes $975,000. That's, less than 40 times what Dak is asking for.
What you're trying to do? See, what you've done is what ownership and management has done for a long time. It convinces a certain group of players that you're one of us, when in actuality, you're not. You're just like Dak Prescott. There will come a time that you're so much family, they're going to release you or they're going to trade you. That's what they're going to do with family. See, when real family, Skip, you can't trade your son. You can't cut your daughter. But sometimes it's convinced, the ownership has convinced a lot of these players, we are the Cowboys, we are the Steelers, we are the Broncos. No, you're not. You're a player. And once you realize that that's all you are, yes, they will treat you fair. They will treat you comparable to your play. Jarrett and Stephen Jones drew the battle lines when they walked up to the podium and said, Dak needs to work with us. Dak needs to give us a discount. We are the Cowboys. We're America's team. He understands that. They drew the battle lines, not Dak. If we're going to negotiate, we're going to negotiate. My negotiator with your negotiator. We're not going public with this. But you went public early on because what you tried to do is drum up support and say if Dak doesn't accept exactly what we offer, he's being selfish. He doesn't care about us. He doesn't care about winning. And the fans are like, man, I'm making $100,000 and Dak got an opportunity to make $30 million and he turned that down? Yes, because you can't put it into your relative terms. You have to say, okay, you got a job and you believe that you're worth $175,000. And all of a sudden your boss comes to you and say, nah, we just want to give you 50, 60. You're going to say, hell no. And that's what Dak is saying. Dak says, I'm worth more than this. Skip, you have to realize Ty Smith signed that 10-year deal 3 years into his deal. He chose to do that. But they made him the highest paid. Zach Martin, the same thing. Travis Frederick, the same thing. So Dak is saying, and plus, there is no position more premium. That's what you told me. You said in your 40 years of covering, it is the most important, it is the most valuable position in all of pro sports. So linemen and receivers shouldn't make what a quarterback make if the value is what you said it is. But this notion, and the Steelers should know better, is that they have, oh, we're a family, we're the Steelers. No, you're not. You're not a family. Those guys in that locker room, you are equal. They look at you guys as equal. Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger is a better player than a lot of you, and he makes accordingly. But if you think Ben Roethlisberger is a Rooney, you're crazy. If you think Ramon Foster and Marquise Pouncey was Rooney, they're crazy. That's an absurd way to think it. But that's been going on for years, hundreds of years, that they can convince one or two. And it's like, bruh, you see how they treat us good? What you mean, us? No, they don't. So stop this notion. Dak is doing right. Everybody else, you got your money. Be supportive of Dak as he was of you.
Shannon, I never considered Ramon Foster and Marquise Pouncey housemen, like gullible, dupable.
Well, that's what I think they are. If they think because they were speaking as the Rooneys, we're family, we're the Steelers. You're Marquise Pouncey. You got no stock in that because when it's all said and done, guess what? They're going to have somebody else in that same number on that same offensive line blocking for another back. And you're going to be just like Le'Veon Bell. You're going to be elsewhere.
Yes, but Shannon Sharp, as much as I love my man Dak Prescott, his behavior recently has been shockingly uncharacteristic to me. I didn't see this in that man. And I know he deserves his money, but I still say there are rampant reports that the offer on the table is 35 to 36 million with around 110 million guaranteed. That's really fair, Shannon. I think others in the locker room right now are quietly rolling their eyes thinking, boy, that seems really fair for what Dak has accomplished so far and even projecting what he will accomplish. He's not Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's Lamar or Deshaun. He might one day achieve those levels, but he's 1-2 in the postseason. He's coming off an 8-8 season in which he went 1-5 against the good teams on the schedule. He's 5-13 in his career against teams that won 10 or more games. His touchdowns, interceptions are way worse against the good teams than against the teams you call garbage and easy games and empty calorie games. So if I just look at 1-2 in the playoffs, I can't say he deserves more than what's on the table right now. I think Jerry loves Dak. I think Jerry also believes he has a responsibility to his customers and to his locker room to hold that bottom line enough that they can have a quality, credible team around Dak over the next 5 years. And he can't absolutely obliterate the salary cap just because he loves Dak Prescott and believes he will be the long-term answer. And all of a sudden, if Dak is completely out of bounds with his demand, Jerry has to dig in and defend the football team. And it's near future here. You want to see it blown up. You want to see Dak get absurd money. You want to see Jerry overpay dramatically because you know it will kill my team in the end. But Jerry's saying this is even too rich for my blood.
Skip, let me ask you a question. Where was this defiance when Dak was grossly underpaid? I didn't hear you banging on the table saying Dak is underpaid. Jerry, you need to get back to the table and play Dak. I didn't hear anybody. I didn't hear his teammates squandering then in the locker room, rolling their eyes, saying, man, I can't believe they doing this to Dak. Man, that man only making $400,000 a year, and he's 13-3. He's rookie of the year. Where were those damn teammates then? Where would they rally and cry for Dak then? Where was Skip Bayless banging on the table when he was making $700,000, taking him to a playoff, winning a game against Russell Wilson, in which you completely said time after time again that Dak Prescott is better than Russell Wilson. Now it's time for him to get paid. Where is Skip? Whoa, Jerry can't blow this thing up. Jerry has got to do what's in the best interest of Jerry. And this is what I tell young guys. I said, look, the Dallas Cowboys, the Broncos, and the Steelers, they are companies. They're a corporation. You, David Pearson, is a corporation. Joe Watercooler is a corporation. You need to think yourself as an entity, as a business. They're got to do their business. You got to handle your business. So don't be giving me a discount because guess what? When you outperform that, see, this is what bothers me about the NFL. Love it. Basically everything that you see behind me and what I have is because of the NFL. But what they do is that you sign a contract, you sign the contract, you outperform the contract, you sign the contract. Now, all of a sudden, I want more money because but you signed the contract, remember? No, Dak says, guess what? I outperformed the contract and I played it out. And you think you're going to give me what you gave Jerry Goff, what you gave Wentz when they had 2 years left on their deal? They got $110 million with years left. You want to give me $110 million with no years left? I wish I might. I'm a corporation. Jerry, you do what's in the best interest of you. And I'm going to do what's in the best interest of Dak Prescott because Skip Bayless has told me time and time again, I'm better than Russell Wilson. And right now, I'm better than Patrick Mahomes on some days. So now, all of a sudden, I'm about to get this big payday. Skip say, what, you didn't win no games against teams with winning record. Your touchdown to interception ratio is a little lower when you play teams with winning record. None of the things that he brought up when Dak Prescott last year or when Dak Prescott was winning division titles, this only came to the forefront once I'm about to get paid. Hold on, Skip Bayless, I've been coming late to work. See, I would have a problem if I showed up late to work and Fox never said anything. Not one word. I'm doing the job, getting it done, but as soon as the contract negotiation, you're like, Shannon, but you know you be coming late every day. Whoa, wait a minute. There wasn't a problem when I was doing well. Skip Bayless, you think you slick. You think you slick right there, Skip Bayless. You, and everybody knows it, you said Dak Prescott is better than Russell Wilson. That's what you said for 4 years. And now it's time to get paid. You talk about he ain't better than all these other guys. Where did it go, Skip? What happened? What happened in the last 3 months that convinced you that Dak Prescott was not a top quarterback as you've been saying for the last 4 years? Remember, you've been trumping for him for a long time, Skip.
Yeah. Shannon, you act like they have offered him $10.50 an hour. It's the best deal of any quarterback right now. It's on the table. He can be the highest paid right here, right now, if he just signs that dotted line. And what did I tell you from the start about my man, Dak Prescott? He is Brady-esque. Unfortunately, he went in the 4th round. Tom went all the way down in the 6th round, 199th player picked in the draft. Way back when. Tom Brady's still making the league pay for that. I want to see that same chip on Dak's shoulders, because the thing that Brady did from the start was he did not get paid, and he did not demand and hold out to be paid. He always took far, far less than market value. And what's his bottom line, Shannon Sharp? It's 9 Super Bowls with 6 victories that should have been 7 or 8, thanks to Bill Belichick. The point is, Brady got to 9 Super Bowls taking less than market value, so that somebody, Belichick or whoever pulls the strings up there, could have more budget to surround him with a little better supporting cast, which became no supporting cast last year. But that's a whole nother story. But the point is, I thought cut out of the same cloth was Dak Prescott. I thought he realized, I am blessed out of the 4th round to be the starting quarterback for America's team. I get 12 national TV commercials. I don't know how much money it means to him, but it's a whole lot. He was already making a whole lot more money than most quarterbacks in most cities can make off the field. Probably nearly everyone but 2 or 3 of those quarterbacks. He might be at the top for all I know. So Shannon, he knows he's got a great deal. He has weaponry around him next year that could make this team a Super Bowl contender. You have to take what's on the table because it's really good. It's not going to be more than Mahomes, but you're not better than Patrick Mahomes. He won a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson got to 2 Super Bowls and he won a Super Bowl, and Shannon Sharp thinks he should have won 2 Super Bowls. I don't, but it was close. So in the end, Dak Prescott hasn't gotten out of the 2nd round of the playoffs. He's 1-2. I can't defend that.
But you have been. So let me ask you a question. When did you realize that Russell Wilson is now better than Dak Prescott? Was it before or after he went to and won a Super Bowl? Was it before he constantly has his team in the playoffs, even though they stripped everything from around him? When did you realize that? Because for the last 4 years... Hold a minute. Hold on. You just said, 2 years ago, when Dak won that game, you said Dak Prescott is better than Russell Wilson. You constantly vouched and trumpeted that. But nobody believed that Dak Prescott... I didn't constantly.
I just did it that game. I said he outplayed him that game. Go look.
No.
He outplayed him that game.
I got it. Yeah. I got it. I've heard you. But all I'm saying is that Dak is saying, this is what basically Dak is saying in a nutshell. Skip, you made me play the contract out, Jerry. There will be, the discount comes in the beginning, Skip. It's kind of like, if I buy something, Skip, let's just say, I lease a car. Okay, if I extend the lease, I'm going to get a discount because I'm extending. I'm going to get a discount. But Skip, if the lease runs out, I'm not going to get the discount. You want a discount and you let the thing run out. The Cowboys let the contract run out. You know how this works.
No, wait. That's wrong. That is erroneous. That, as Dak said, is completely inaccurate. Shannon, they made an offer. They made a good offer a year and a half ago, and he said, absolutely not. They are entrenched. Correct. They want beyond Mahomes money. The offer got made back right on schedule with the Goff timing and the Wentz timing. They did it a year and a half ago. This has been going on quietly behind the scenes. And Dak said, no way, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking a Goff-Wentz kind of deal.
Skip, why would he take a Goff-Wentz deal when they have 2 years left on the deal and he had only 1, and that was going into the last year? You do realize as first-round picks, 1 and 2, they had what they call a 5th-year option that was already picked up. So Dak said, hey, they already got this in the bag. So why am I going to give you a discount when I ain't got nothing in the 5th year in the bag? Y'all need to pay for that. You know how this works, Skip.
They tried a year and a half ago, right? The first moment that they could make an offer to Dak Prescott, they made one. That's what I'm told. That's what I believe. Again, a lot of this hasn't come out yet. But Shannon, my bottom line to you is, if he starts holding out through camp, which I believe he will, if he starts missing real games, that locker room is going to turn on him, and it's going to say, man, we're seeing your true colors, and they are not metallic blue.
No, they're green.
His teammates are loving him now, but if he continues to hold out, we'll have to wait and see. Could get messy with the Cowboys.
No mercy.
The NFL Executive Vice President of Football Operations, Troy Vincent, said that the league, quote, failed miserably while implementing pass interference replays last season. He said it served as a cautionary tale and that the league could not fail this year. Shannon, do you agree?
Well, Skip, it did not go according to plan. And this is what happened when you rush an agenda across the table. Skip, if you look at the situation with the kickoff rules, now the players cannot get a 10, 15-yard head of steam. You have to stand at the line and then take off. You know why, Skip? Because they studied, and over the course of 5 or 10 years, they saw that there was a high rate of concussions when players generated a higher rate of speed. Okay, they said, so since we do that, they're getting a running start. Let's just try to slow some of this down. Skip, if you look at the catch rule, the Calvin Johnson or the Dez Bryant, we saw year after year, well, what is a catch? What isn't a catch? Is it 2 feet down? Was he in a running position? Yada, yada, yada. Then they changed it. But, Skip, that was over after years and years of studying. Skip, 1 year. Skip, if this wasn't I get it. This was one of the most egregious call, if not the most egregious call that we've seen in a high-pressure situation. Maybe I think it was Mike Rimpo, when he got both feet down and there was no replay back then. I think it was the Oilers against the Steelers. That was maybe just as egregious call, but you get the point that I'm making, Skip. Now, if this was happening week after week after week after year, Skip, and you wanted to make necessary changes, I get it. But after one incident, you're willing to go and table everything and says, okay, but Skip, that is a subjective call. That's what that is. And so now you said, okay, you were wrong. And like replay want to overrule the official that made it on the field, Skip, it's like, you paid these guys a lot of money. And Skip, we can get to this. They should have full-time officials, Skip. That's a topic for another day. We're just going to deal with this issue, which is PI and what they were going to leave it to a booth review or a coach can challenge it. Skip, it was doomed from the start. And I told you, Skip, I said, Skip, this is an overreaction. I said, because we don't have enough data to show that these calls are being made time and time again in favor of the defense. And what did they do, Skip? Because Sean Payton said, you cost us the Super Bowl. Miss Benson, Gail Benson, the owner of the Saints, she wrote the letter, and Commissioner Goodell, you got to do something for this. And the Saints fan, you kept it from the Super Bowl. And what did they do, Skip? They overreacted. That's what this was. This was an overreaction to an isolated incident. Skip, they're gonna be missed PI calls moving forward. But I don't believe there'll be something this egregious. And that's what this was. Egregious. And yeah, it failed miserably. I know Troy very well. And for him to come out with such a harsh tone, Skip, lets you know how bad this looks, because he basically said, yeah, we effed it up. This thing was doomed from the start, Skip. And I think they reluctantly passed it last year. But I told you, Skip, I said, Skip, they're asking for trouble.
You keep referring to that blown call at New Orleans in the NFC Championship game, late in the NFC Championship game, as an isolated incident. Isolated incident? It cost the Saints
of it, Skip.
the Super Bowl. Okay, that's devastating. It's a debacle of a disaster for this league. What are you talking about?
Hold up. Didn't the game go into overtime? Didn't the Saints get the ball first with Drew Brees? No, that didn't end the game. That did not end the game.
Well, it would have. If you throw the flag, I think the game's going to end in favor of the Saints. Well, they're going to get the ball down, at the 8-yard line? I think they're going to win the game. The point was everybody thought the Saints were going to win the game except for that call. Everybody and his dog, my dog Hazel, said, what are they doing? Because she was upset. She wouldn't eat for 4 days after that call because she said they blew it. They kept the Saints out of the Super Bowl. Well, at the highest level of a championship game, you can't abide that. You have to fix that. You have to close that loophole. It's something that is so fixable. So I was surprised. I like Troy Vincent a lot also. I think he does a great job. I don't think he needed to fall on his sword quite as hard as he fell on his sword yesterday to say they failed miserably. And he said, we all failed. I'm first in line. He took it all upon his own shoulders. Troy, you didn't fail. You tried something that was a good idea. The execution of it wasn't great. It was okay, but it wasn't great. You just have to come up with some system whereby there's a fail-safe, there's a stopgap, there's a fallback mechanism that will save you from a debacle of a disaster. So now they're talking about a sky judge. Shannon, I've been doing this for years. I can go back 30 years when replay was first in vogue, and they were talking about we have a replay official who's part of the on-field refereeing crew. He travels with that crew. He's part of their team. He's up in the press box. He's the fail-safe. He's the last line of defense. If somebody really blows one, because we're all human, then it was up to the guy up in the booth, the replay review official, to say, whoops, we missed that one. And you know and I know you can do it like that. We're sitting at home. We see the first replay, and Shannon Sharp sits back up in his palatial estate up in Bel Air, and he just says, they blew that one. Everybody knows it. Shannon's 3 dogs, they all know that call was wrong at one glance. And it's over and it needs to get fixed. Well, if you have somebody who's impartial upstairs, that will work. What they found starting 30 years ago is that because that replay referee traveled and had dinner on Saturday night with the crew, that he was pretty hesitant to show up the guys on the field. So routinely, he'd sort of swallow his own whistle up in the press box, so to speak, and he'd say, let's let that call stand. You don't want to shame your fellow officials. Maybe your friends are on the field, guys that you hang out with and socialize with. So that didn't work. So now we're talking about a sky judge. Same idea, but you need him to be impartial and to be smart enough and skilled enough and experienced enough to take one look and say, no, I'm sorry, we missed that one. It's just for, as you say, Shannon, the egregious call that clearly needs to get fixed like that. It's 2020. We have cameras all over the field. We have unprecedented views of every play. We can fix these things on the fly if the system in place is correct and can be executed correctly. I did not love the coach's challenge part of it. Now you've got a gimmicky thing where, oh, you only get X challenges. You're out of challenges. You can't challenge that play. Baloney. It should always be challenged up in the box. It should be a booth review whenever there's any question about a play. And I'm not talking about slowing the game down to a snail's pace and making it unwatchable. You can take a quick look. You can see it often in real time. Whoops, they missed that one. I knew the Roby Coleman play instantaneously. What? There's no flag on that play? What is he? He tackled him. He got there like 3 seconds too soon because he knew he was beaten, probably for a touchdown. So those glaring, egregious plays, they're fixable with the sky judge. So if we do away with coaches' challenges and we do away with the crew getting together and not overturning, what did they overturn last year? 23 times out of 98 challenges, 98 coach or booth review challenges, and 23 got overturned. And there were numerous times, and I don't have time to go back through it here because we don't have time on this show, but there were a number of times when I said, way to go, NFL. You got that one. You cleaned up your mess on that one. You saved yourself from yourselves with that one. And that's all I care about. So, Troy, to say we failed, no, you didn't fail miserably. You reacted as quickly as you could. You tried a new system. that didn't work great, but it worked okay because it did save you occasionally. So now let's refine it. Let's go sky judge. Let's get it right, because the refs on the field do not want to be shamed and embarrassed. And unfortunately, they're human. This is where Shannon, I always fought with Jerry Jones. I've told you this before. We had numerous big arguments about this. He was all for what he calls human frailty. It's just part of the game.
Yes.
Refs are going to blow calls. It's like part of the product that you're selling to America, because everybody grows up thinking those referees, they're going to blow those calls. The refs cost us a game is part of Americana. It's part and parcel of the appeal of the National Football League. No, it's not. I know what Jerry's saying, but it's fixable. It's 2020. It's not 1948 in Arkansas. So I'm sorry.
Skip.
Fix it.
I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So you want to make sure they get every call correct. So are we going to call offensive holding on a touchdown pass that the officials missed? Because they've already slanted it so far against the defense. They've already instituted every rule they possibly can to give the offense an advantage. So I just need to know, is that sky judge that's going to be up there, is he going to be allowed to call offensive holding if there is a holding call and the officials miss it on the field? Why not? Let's get it right, Skip. It's 2020. We're going to get it right.
Because pass interference is what's called a spot foul. It's wherever it happens, you get that much yardage. If it's a 65-yard pass, you get 65 yards. The significance, the impact of it is unlike any other penalty in pro football, in the National Football League. In college, they just say, if you get fouled down the field and pass interference, it's just 15 yards. So it's easy for college kids to just say, I'm beat, I grab him, because it's only going to be 15 yards. So holding is one thing. This is like a 65 or 70 egregious yard penalty.
Skip, you remember in the AFC Championship game where they thought Chris Jones had hit Tom Brady in the helmet and he hit him on the shoulder pad? Shouldn't that have been a review and they not get those 15 yards?
Yeah, if it's egregious, if you can look at it one quick time and say, whoops, we completely swung and missed.
Why all of a sudden, hold on, wait a minute. Why all of a sudden are you using egregious? Is it a foul or isn't it? A simple yes or a simple no. You said you used the term egregious. No. Should Tom Brady have been given 15 yards for Chris Jones hitting him in his shoulder pad and not his helmet? Yes, he should not have gotten those yards.
Here all day. We could do, Shannon, we could do 6 months of shows in a row in which we went back into NFL history about calls that are 50-50. Is it not? You know and I know we're talking about the blunders, the obvious, the glaring, the ones that cost teams a Super Bowl.
Skip. They've been playing. We got about to go into 55 years of Super Bowl. So we can go back to 2 calls. We can go back to the AFC Championship game, the Oilers against the Steelers, and we can go back to the NFC Championship game 2-3 years ago against the Saints against the Rams. So we're talking about two over a 55-year span, Skip. Come on now. Like I said, if it was a situation, this was occurring every single week, like the catch, no catch, the Calvin Johnson, the Dez Bryant, the Jesse James. We saw it week after week after week. They studied the collisions with kickoffs week after week, year after year. Then they instituted change. Skip, not after one play. After one play. Think about that, Skip, what they did. What they normally do is after years and years and years of data, they institute change. This one, they did after 1 year, after one play. It wasn't even a year of studying. They wasn't even studying this. It was after one play, they instituted wholesale change. That's why it failed.
So are you telling me that you want it as is back in the day that you played? You want none of this involvement. You want no interaction with the booth. You just want the officials on the field to keep blowing calls because that's what they do.
Oh, my, Skip, you make it seem like they blow every single call, Skip. They don't.
Okay, remember, we didn't even talk about the tuck rule that got overturned from above or maybe from New York.
You want to talk about the
Dez catch. Yeah, or the Dez catch where he caught it and ran 2 steps with it and scored, and the official goes like this, and they say, no, he didn't have control. What?
Skip.
Okay, that can happen. That's the reverse.
What I'm afraid of is that people get off the field, and then all of a sudden they see a flag, and they're like, where the hell did that flag come from? We were off the field. That's what I'm afraid, and then people are going to think the NFL is doing shady business.
No mercy.
Each NBA team's most important play this season was selected over the weekend, and the Lakers' play came early in the season. In just the 5th game, LA was trailing against the Mavericks when LeBron found Danny Green in the corner to get a game-tying 3 to force overtime. And Shannon, I know you remember this play. What did it tell you?
I do. Well, it showed that LeBron trusted his teammates early on. Skip, even if Danny Green misses that shot, it shows that LeBron is not willing to force something. Clearly, this is something, there's nothing, you've heard the saying that I love it when a plan comes together. You work on something, and I've been in situations where we work on a play, and we never run it. We never get an opportunity to run it in the game, but then we don't, we start working on that play, and then Mike would call it 5-6 weeks later. Skip, when you work on something and it comes out just like you planned it, there's no greater feeling. Now, I can assure you they've worked on this play time and time again. Not necessarily that week, but I'm sure in the course of training camp at some point, they worked on this play. But it just goes to show you that LeBron is willing to trust his teammates. Because, Skip, up until that point, Danny Green had I think he had taken 1 shot in the 4th quarter. 1 shot. And for LeBron to say, you know what? We're going to sink or swim with this play. I'm going to survey it. I'm going to try to buy some time. And everybody has to do their job. Now, Skip, the 2-minute report did come out. Dwight Howard did get a little tug on Seth Curry to slow him just enough that Danny Green was able to pop free. But when you run a play and it comes out and it works to perfection, and that's what makes LeBron so unique. LeBron is unswayed whether the guy makes or misses a shot because he understands we're running this play with the hopes that he's going to make it. But I can't base my actions on whether or not he misses this shot. Well, he might miss it, so let me take the shot. That's not how he operates. He's going to go, and he's going to do what he feels is in the best interest of the team. And I trust his judgment. It's never wrong to make the right decision. And LeBron is always going to make the right decision. We're not going to always get the outcome that one would hope for. But if you make the right decision, you can live whatever outcome that comes out of that.
Okay. I have a whole lot to say about this play. I do think it was pivotal for the Lakers. I do think it helped launch them into a long early win streak that set the tone for the year. And they did it against a team that I think has been the surprise, you could argue, of all of basketball, but certainly of the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks, especially at home with Luka and Porzingis. Now, what I remember about that night was that happened to be the night I was in Oklahoma City at my high school, Northwest Classen High School, getting honored. So it's the one LeBron game this year that I wasn't able to watch until the bitter end. So I'm checking my phone through the ceremony, and I see Dallas is up, 10 with 9:18 left. And I'm thinking, man, at home, the Mavericks probably got this one. I did not get to see what happened in that stretch down to, 6.4 seconds left. But in that stretch, in the 4th quarter, Luka and Porzingis combined to go 0 of 6 from the field. And in that stretch, I saw the highlight or low light. Dwight Howard got away with roughing up Luka on a loose ball. I think he got him with the forearm. And I think the book on Luka, who you say is the next Larry Bird, baloney, the book on Luka is to get physical with him because he will shy from physicality. And Dwight really got physical with him, and he seemed a little woozy and a little shaky the rest of the game. And Kuzma said after the game that their game plan was to pass it to whoever Luka was guarding because he couldn't guard any of them. So the guy that you say is the next Larry Bird can't defend. I don't know. That's a whole conversation for another day. But Luka and Porzingis, they both shrank down the stretch, which allowed LeBron and company to come back, creep back into the game. So now we get down to, they're still down 3 with 6.4 seconds left. So We just saw The Last Dance, and we've been talking a whole lot about GOAT. You say the GOAT's LeBron, so I'll throw Michael Jordan into this equation, and let's play it off. Let's see. Would Michael Jordan have set a pick on the final inbounds play at half court? That's what LeBron did. LeBron goes and sets a pick. I'm thinking, what are you doing? It's only 6.4 seconds left. Michael Jordan would have demanded the inbounds pass come straight to him. LeBron didn't do that. He's setting a pick, and Danny Green barely got an inbounds to Avery Bradley. Then LeBron cuts across the floor, and Avery turns fairly quickly and gives it to LeBron over on the left wing. And I'm thinking now we're down to about 3 seconds left. And Michael Jordan just takes it. He's got, at this point, the switch was DeLon Wright. He's 6'5", LeBron 6'9". If that's Michael Jeffrey Jordan, he just says, I got this. He puts a move on DeLon Wright, and he shoots the three to tie the game. It's what GOATs do. They shoot the shot to tie the game. It's do or die, sink or swim, shoot the shot. And LeBron dribbles right by DeLon Wright because obviously Rick Carlisle told everybody on the floor, you're going to play them to shoot the three. They're down 3. And DeLon's up in LeBron, and LeBron just easily dribbles right by him. And as soon as he crosses the three-point line, I'm like, what are you doing? By this point, we're back at the hotel, Ernestine and I, and we just got back in time to watch this last play. And I nearly fell off my hotel room chair thinking, what are you going to do? Are you going to dunk it and end the game down 1? And he got right to the rim, and at the last second, he looks and he kicks it into the corner to Danny Green. It wasn't a great pass by LeBron's best passer in basketball standards. It was low. Danny Green had to catch it. Go look. He has to catch it down at his knees. It's not a pocket pass where it's right here, catch and shoot. It's down at the knees. Now, you just brought it up. What if? No. These are boulder picking. This isn't nits. These are boulders. Dwight Howard gets away with, they run a little pick play over on the far side, away from the ball, and Dwight just reaches out and grabs hold of Seth Curry's jersey and just tugs on it, and it pulls him backwards. If he doesn't do that, and Seth Curry is free to run with Danny Green to the corner, LeBron's going to be stuck under the basket with all dressed up and nowhere to go. I mean, he's going to look. I don't know where he's going to go with the basketball because you're done. You got to get it back past the three-point line or you're not even going to get a shot to tie the game. And he is so blessed that at this point, Danny did flash open enough to be able to catch the ball. And then Danny had the wherewithal, which is extraordinary, to catch it. Now Seth's late. And Seth does a flyby. He just flies by, and Danny paused for a split second, let him fly by, and then goes up and barely got the shot away before the light went on and the buzzer went off. It's an extraordinarily lucky play because if Dwight doesn't get away with what should have been immediately called offensive foul and ended the game right then and right there, I'm sorry, it should have been over. Then LeBron is stuck with nowhere to go.
Skip, can I ask you a question? How did this become a LeBron versus Jordan question? It was about, okay, a beat writer said the play of the year thus far for the Lakers was the play that happened 5 games into the season, down 3, LeBron James surveys the court, passes to Danny Green. Danny Green hits the shot, they go into overtime and win the game. You turned it into a LeBron versus Jordan. Skip, Michael Jordan passed the ball to Steve Kerr to hit a game-winning shot. But you said it was because he told him that he was going to throw it.
He called it in the huddle.
They practiced that. Skip.
No, they didn't. They never practiced that. Skip. I mean, that was simple. That's John Stockton's going to come to Michael, and Michael's just going to dump it over to Kerr, and hitting right in the shooting pocket.
Skip, let me ask you a question. How did he know that John Stockton was going to come over? That's why you watch film, Skip. You watch film to see what they're going to do
it all game. He said it in the huddle. They were doubling Michael every time down with Stockton. Every time down because he's unstoppable. LeBron did not get doubled on that play. Nobody in the huddle said, we know LeBron's going to get doubled. No, they didn't, because LeBron's not a very good three-point shooter. So he was basically a non-factor on that play. There were other better three-point shooters, including Danny Green, who had already made one in the game. He was 2 for 2 from 3.
So let me ask you a question. So Michael Jordan on the Bulls, he was always the best three-point shooter on the Bulls. So he was better than Paxson. He was better than Kerr. He was better than Kukoc at shooting the three-point shot. Is that what you're telling me?
Threes weren't shot in his day. There was no emphasis put on three-point shots. But trust me,
the three-point line has been in since 1979.
You want to see the stats on how few? What was it that for his career, Michael averaged 3.6 attempts per game? What's Harden average now? 15 attempts a game? I don't even know what it is. 20 attempts?
No, what you're trying to do is that you're trying to say the three-point shot. There was no three-point shot when Jordan was in. The three-point shot came in 5 years before Jordan entered in 1979. But that's not here. But this is what I also want to say. You always talk about what Porzingis and what Doncic didn't do. Oh, they crumbled down the stretch. Okay, but you never said anything about the Falcons crumbling down the stretch. All you mentioned was Tom Brady taking advantage of the opportunity and how great he was. Okay, all the Lakers did was take advantage of the opportunity that was presented to them. Skip, you've got to stop this notion because LeBron didn't take the shot. Michael Jordan would have took the shot. Okay, maybe he would have, and maybe he would have made it.
Yeah.
But this is not this is not a LeBron versus Jordan debate in this. This was the execution of a play, the trust that LeBron James has in his teammates to do their job. Everybody else, when Steve Kerr hit the shot, when John Paxson hit shot, it was his teammates doing their job. LeBron James has a teammate that does his job. They save his legacy. I'm just trying to differentiate between the two. Both guys have teammates. Both guys' teammates steps up and do their job, but only one guy gets saved. His legacy is saved by teammates doing their job. And I just want to know why and how we've come to this.
Shannon, every time you bring up on this show, GOAT James, you challenge me effectively that Jordan is not the GOAT. So you actually bring up Michael Jordan effectively every time you say that, and you brought it up here. GOAT James.
No, I didn't.
I'm not going to let you get away with it anymore because anybody who watched The Last Dance knows deep down in his heart, soul, her heart and soul, Michael Jeffrey Jordan was the GOAT, is the GOAT, will always be the GOAT. So in this case, it's a glaring example how LeBron got away with not being the GOAT because he should have shot that shot. And he was very lucky that a play didn't get called, a foul didn't get called that freed up Danny Green. And this time, Kyle Korver hit the shot. This time, George Hill made the play. This was Danny Green saving LeBron from himself.
See, and guess what? You won't talk about this, but LeBron had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals in the fourth quarter, which was goatish, and another 9 points and 2 assists in the OT. Goatish. 39, 16, and 12. GOAT guys do GOAT things in GOAT moments. Ta-da! And there you have it, the GOAT.
I thought the GOAT of this game was actually Dwight Howard, who had the best plus-minus on the floor, plus 10 in this game. So I think I'll give the game ball to Dwight Howard this time. Way to go, Dwight.
Whatever.
No mercy.
CBS Sports ranked the NFL's top triplets, which is a combination of quarterback, running back, and either wide receiver or tight end. The Chiefs took the top spot with Patrick Mahomes, rookie running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Tyreek Hill. And following KC were the Saints with Breeze, Kamara, and Thomas. And rounding out the top 3, Skips, Cowboys, and I think we know who those guys are. Dak, Zeke, Amari, Shannon. Do you agree with these rankings?
No, because I believe they have the Cowboys ranked too high. I have Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Aaron Jones in front of them. I have Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Todd Gurley in front of them. So for me, Skip, I'm not so sure that my first cousin and Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook shouldn't be in front of the Cowboys. But there's no way the Cowboys should be in the top 3 because nobody, not even one Cowboy fan, thinks that Amari Cooper is a top 5 receiver. Not even close to top 5. Not even close under any circumstances. And when you look at the quarterback, and I think Dak has improved every year, even the quarterbacks, I believe Aaron Rodgers is better than Dak, and Cousins is like flipping a coin. So with that being said, I believe the strength of this debate for the Cowboys is in the running back position, not the wide receiver or the quarterback position. So for me, the Chiefs, you could take Tyreek out, put Travis Kelce in, and you still got number 1. No problem with Drew Brees, Mike Thomas, and Kamara, but there's no way the Cowboys, I wouldn't have the Cowboys in the top 5 of this list.
Time out. Did you just say it's a coin flip between Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins for who's better? And you're telling me that Dak deserves $40+ million a year to be paid by far number 1 quarterback and player money?
Well,
is that what you just told me?
Well, how about this here? 2 years ago, Kirk Cousins got $84 million fully guaranteed. How much for over 3 years? How much fully guaranteed money is Jerry Jones going to give Dak Prescott over the first 3 years? Fully guaranteed. I'm not talking about no guarantees if he's on the roster. I'm not talking about injury protection. How much over the first 3 years, Skip, is Dak Prescott going to receive from Jerry Jones? 90? 100 million?
I don't know. The total is supposed to be around 110 million, but that's for 5 years. It could be 80-ish, and that's what Kirk Cousins got, 84 million
Skip,
guaranteed.
You think you're sneaky. You think you're sneaky, Skip. You keep saying guaranteed. I keep saying fully guaranteed. There's a difference. There's a difference between boiling and lukewarm. Boiling and lukewarm. No, Skip Baylor. Stop with that little sneaky small talk.
Okay.
Guaranteed versus fully guaranteed.
Okay. Now, back to the issue at hand. I'm going to sneak right through a loophole that you allowed to be opened with the Kansas City Chiefs. You love my homeboy, but on his list of triplets ranked number 1 by CBS, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's played how many downs in the NFL? How about 0? So you're allowing a recently drafted rookie to be part of the number 1 trio in pro football. Aha. Well, then, if them's the rules, Shannon Sharp, I'm going to change my 3. My Dallas Cowboys then substitute CD Lamb for Amari Cooper. Now what are you going to do? Because I got you. Amari Cooper, you're right.
10.
I cannot defend him. What's that? With CD Lamb?
If you put CD Lamb in that group, you're out of the top 10. You're no longer not even top 5.
I think
you're not even top 10.
No, I think we just vaulted to number 1. I told you this from the start of college football season. He was the best receiver in college football. The Cowboys stole him on draft night, and all of a sudden, Dak Prescott went from not even being ranked last August by the players in the top NFL.com 100. Didn't even make the top 100 voted by players, to everybody says he's the 3rd best MVP candidate. And some people are making the case that Dak will win the MVP this coming season. It's because of CD Lamb. I'm not saying he's going to have the impact of KD or AD, but CD is going to have dramatic impact even as a rookie on my Cowboys. And I believe he will be more valuable than Tyreek. Tyreek's number 1 on this list because CD Lamb is both a possession receiver and a home run hitter. Last year in college football, he averaged 21.4 yards per catch. And I told you, Shannon, for my Oklahoma Sooners, they didn't have a track team of Alabama receivers. They didn't have Judy and Ruggs and Devontae Smith and down the line. They didn't have 4 potential number 1 draft picks. They really only had CD Lamb. He caught 62 balls. The next on the list is 43 by Rambo. And the next on the list is 19 by Jalen Hazelwood, who got hurt. He's a true freshman. So my point is, it was, wait a second, CD or bust. They were triple teaming him in the Texas game. They could not get him on the ground. The last 2 years, he led college football with 25 30-plus yard catches. Last year, he was 9.2 yards after the catch. I'm pretty sure that led college football. I don't know that for sure because I don't have those stats at my fingertips. But 9.2 after the catch, that's like you're getting a first down. Every time you catch the ball, you're getting another first down. Shannon, he's a game changer. I told you the day after the draft, he's going to change life in Dallas. So if you give me Dak Prescott, who you now say is worth $40 million a year, and you give me an Ezekiel Elliott, who you say is going to have a bounce-back year because he is still the best running back in football. Clearly, he's better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think he's better than Kamara. Anybody else you want? He's better than Gurley. Gurley seems broken down at this point, which is why the Rams cut him. So you give me Dak and Zeke and CeeDee? Wow. I got this.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking at the number one trio in football.
Right now, CeeDee Lamb is not a top 15 receiver in the NFL. I'm not. And look, I understand. I don't know why they went with Helaire, considering that the running back, I think it was Williams, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's who could have been the MVP in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Had Mahomes not played as well as he did down the stretch. But Skip, I mean, you talk about CeeDee Lamb, Skip. Now you balled it out. Now you're like 14th or 15th. You're way on down the list. At least Amari is a proven commodity. I just don't believe he's a top 5 receiver. You'd be hard-pressed to find any exec that says Amari Cooper is a top 5 receiver, given all the receivers just in the NFC, not even going to the AFC. So with that being said, Skip, you put CeeDee Lamb in there, you're not even in the top 15.
Amari Cooper was a top 5 receiver coming off the previous year when he played about 8 games with Dak. They were sensational. They beat Seattle. They played well enough on offense to beat the Rams out here in L.A. in the Coliseum. But last year, Amari Cooper caught 52 balls at home and only 27 on the road. He shut it down after 1 catch at the Jets. He got shut down and he quit thanks to Stephon Gilmore at New England. He's over there pouting on the sidelines because he couldn't get open. And at the Eagles, it got so bad, Jason Garrett yanked him from the game because he was running half-hearted routes. I'm sorry, can't defend that. He got his $100 million to stay. I'm happy about that. I'd rather have him than not have him. I'd rather have him than have him a Washington Redskin, the rival to the Cowboys, obviously. So we got Amari, but we got CeeDee. And CeeDee, if I replace Amari in this triplets, just watch and wait. Remember I told you this. See what starts happening. CeeDee Lamb is a baller, gamer, game changer. Just wait and watch.
Skip, look, you keep talking about Amari, but I would take Adams, Julio, Mike Thomas, Evans, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Hopkins, Thielen, Keenan Allen. I would all take them over Amari Cooper. I would take all those guys right now. And that was just off the top of my head.
You got it. You got it. I give it to you. Go ahead.
And so in other words, you're saying that CeeDee Lamb is better than any of those guys that are better than the guys that I just mentioned on this list. That's what you're telling me.
He will be. In short order, you'll be telling me, whoa, this guy is something. Shannon, he is something. He's the best receiver.
Like I said,
on the Cowboy draft board, he was 6th. 6th on the draft board, and they got him at 17.
Well, guess what? He weren't that high on anybody else's draft board because they let his butt slide right on down, didn't he, Skip? Huh?
All of their mistakes, and I think he was, but they needed something else.
Whoa. The Cowboys needed something else. They needed a DB. But you said that, that now all of a sudden talent outweighs need. Oh, okay.
All I know is Dak Prescott's coming off an 8-8 year in which he did not make the Pro Bowl, and all of a sudden he's as high as 3rd favorite for MVP, and some people, some bloggers and expert analysts are picking him to be the MVP of the league this year. What changed? CeeDee Lamb.
No, they got a new coach. They got to implement a new system. They believe that Mike McCarthy's a better coach than Jason Garrett.
No mercy.
Well, negotiations continue between Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones All-Pro linebacker Sean Lee said that he, along with the whole Cowboys locker room, are huge fans of Prescott's. Despite this, there has been little to no movement in a long-term deal for the quarterback. So, Skip, I start with you. How will it play in the locker room if Dak holds out through camp and maybe into the season?
Not well, unfortunately for me and my Cowboys. Look, Shannon Sharp, I have told you from the start, Dak Prescott has been highly regarded and respected in that locker room. He has become the face and the voice of this franchise, and I love him for all that. But I do not love him for his recent, highly uncharacteristic behavior. It feels like he has, quote unquote, gone to war with Jerry and Stephen Jones. It feels like he and his new agent are entrenched to the point I'm just not sure anymore that they will accept the franchise tag by July 15th. I'm not sure this deal will get done by July 15th or by the start of the real season, the real games. I'm not sure Dak is going to be there for any of training camp, preseason games with Mike McCarthy, a new coach with somewhat of a new system, even though Kellen Moore will still be calling the plays. There's going to be some new verbiage. There is a new receiver that I love, CeeDee Lamb. You're going to damage his ability to establish rapport with Dak Prescott. Let's just say he goes Emmitt Smith, 1993, and misses the first two games. Yes, I believe this locker room will start to turn on its quarterback and its leader. And for Exhibit A, Shannon, I give you what happened to Le'Veon Bell September of 2018. This was a shocker to both of us. That team and that offensive line, which I think is as decorated as the Dallas offensive line, as respected, as experienced as the Dallas offensive line, it turned on Le'Veon. At that point, Le'Veon had made 3 Pro Bowls, and I thought was well-liked in the locker room. Dak has made 2 Pro Bowls. Obviously, he's won 1 playoff game and lost 2. But if we look back at what happened in that early time in September of 2018, first quote comes from Ramon Foster, the player representative for that team, veteran leader, about Le'Veon. Here's a guy who doesn't give a damn, so I guess we have to treat it as such. I just hate it that it came to this. He's making 7 times what I make, said Ramon Foster. He's making twice as much as Al Villanueva, who, by the way, at that point had made 2 Pro Bowls. And we're the guys who do it for him, who obviously block for him, which led to the center, Marquise Pouncey, who has made 8 Pro Bowls. 8. And he says, honestly, it's a little selfish on Le'Veon's part. I'm kind of pissed right now. It sucks that he's not here, but we'll just move forward. Obviously, it's Le'Veon over the Steelers, and we are the Steelers, said Marquise Pouncey. I believe you might get the same reaction if it comes to this from the Cowboy offensive line. Yep, they all make good money, but not compared to what Dak's asking for, $40+ million a year. Next year, Zach Martin will make $11 million. Ty Smith, 10. Lyle Collins, 10. Dak wants 40+. Michael Gallup makes $979,000 next year. So
let me ask you a question.
Wait, Dak deserves 40 times more than Michael Gallup? Seriously?
Let me ask you a question. So how much money has Ty Smith was a first-round draft pick? Zach Martin was a first-round draft pick. Already have had their contracts extended. So how much money have they made in reference to Dak, who's made, the most he's made is probably $2.5 million, $3 million total over the life of the contract. So relative to Ty Smith and Zach Martin, is that equal?
How many national TV commercials has Zach Martin had? Ty Smith had? Lyle Collins had? How about 0?
Dak Prescott is asking for $40 million based on what he's done on the field. Stop trying to make it stop worried about what the man is doing off the field. It's because he can do off the field because of what he does on the field. You go to, oh, is he worth more? Skip. The fact of the matter is Dak plays a premium position. This is not, see, what you're trying to do. And this explains why the Cowboys were able to win a Super Bowl after Emmitt Smith was out because they rallied behind their guy. They supported their guy. This explains why the Steelers have keep missing the playoffs, because they're divided. It's we're the Steelers. No, you're not. You're a bunch of individuals for yourself. And therein lies the problem. One team, the star player missed 2 games. They rallied behind him. They won the Super Bowl. He won the MVP. Another guy started counting pocket watching, where he makes this, that guy makes that, and it ripped the team apart, and they haven't been the same since.
Emmitt Smith, by the way, just for your edification, the year before in 1992 had led the league in rushing and also had 125 yards in a Super Bowl the Cowboys won. He was a made man. So, yeah, the team stayed behind him because they had just won a Super Bowl, and they were favored to win the next Super Bowl. They had their quarterback in-house. He was still there, so they knew they still had a chance, but they needed Emmitt. And he came back right on schedule, and he was the MVP of the league that year. And he was the MVP of the next Super Bowl, and they won 2 in a row. So it's very different when the leader of the team, the quarterback, says, I'm holding out. I'm not even going to do virtual OTAs. What? You're not?
So let me get this straight. So long as we riding good, I acquiesce, I do everything that the Cowboys want, I can be your leader. But when I stand up for myself, I've been vastly up. So Skip, where was those Cowboy players when Dak was making $400,000? Why wasn't anybody taking man, Dak is underpaid. Jared need to give that man a raise. Where was Skip Bayless banging the table then when Dak was underpaid, saying Jerry Jones should pay him more? Where was that energy? Where was that? Skip, where was that?
I told you he's Brady-esque. I loved it that he was taking less money because Tom Brady, the GOAT, always took less money in New England. This is the first time he even got remotely paid to get $25 million in Tampa.
Skip.
25. Dak wants 40. The GOAT gets 25. Dak wants 40.
First, Skip. See, therein lies the problem. You can't say because that man did it. You want to base everything off of Tom Brady. Screw Tom Brady. That's Tom Brady. Where is Belichick? Where is Robert Kraft, Mr. Kraft? Jerry Jones can't hold. Yeah, he's more entertaining. He can't hold a candle to the management style of Mr. Kraft. Their coaches aren't even in the same universe as Bill Belichick. So stop that. You keep talking about Tom Brady, but Tom Brady had the perfect scenario for 20 years. You know why? Because Jerry Jones' ego is so big, he fired the man that could have had them as the Patriots before the Patriots because of his ego. Jerry Jones wants to win this battle with Dak Prescott because it's going to give him, I won. Contrary to what you think, you know it deep down, Jerry wants to win this negotiation. All the years he was underpaid, Jerry talked about how he was a franchise guy. We can win multiple Super Bowls. Now it's time to come pay. All of a sudden, you get cold feet. Nah, bruh. Dak, hold the ground.
When has Jerry Jones ever won a negotiation with any star? He's overpaid every time. He overpaid Tony Romo, and then bringing it up to the present, all the offensive line, and DeMarcus Lawrence, and Jalen Smith, and we can go on. Ezekiel Elliott. Overpaid. He lost every negotiation.
So now he want to get this one right.
This one he can't lose. No, he doesn't want to get it right. He's just trying to keep it in bounds. He wants it to be fair. The offer on the table right now is really good. It's going to make Dak the top paid overall quarterback. I don't know how much more you could want coming from a 4th-round draft choice to 8-8 last year, missing the Pro Bowl, and you're going to be the top paid quarterback. That's pretty great. I think the offer is eminently fair, and I think their demand is outrageously out of bounds.
This is what I love. This is what people, if true fans were to get into the roots of it, there's a difference between baseball, basketball, football, and hockey contracts. Football is the only contract that's not worth the paper it's written on. Mike Trout is going to get all $427 million. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, if he resigns in Milwaukee, he's going to get all $250 million. Alexander Ovechkin is going to get all of his money.
Okay.
If they say, Dak, we got $180 million in this contract, Dak is not going to get anywhere near that 180, and you know it. But the NFL and the owners have convinced their fans that when we do a contract, the player's going to get all that money. Bull jive. Everybody knows it. You know it. You keep saying he got $110 million guaranteed. You're trying to do nuances. It's fully guaranteed. But you won't say that. The Cowboys haven't leaked that. They'll leak all this. We got 5 for 175, $110 million guaranteed. Leak the fully guaranteed money. Why don't they leak that? Because Dak Prescott side hasn't said a word. It's all Cowboys that's trying to paint Dak as greedy. It's worked on Skip Bayless. It's worked on some of the Cowboy fans. But I know how it works because I've been there. So they keep leaking all this information, and the common person, especially going on in a pandemic, and you got 40 million people unemployed, and they think, Dak, how in the hell are you going to turn down $35 million? Well, it's easy if you're worth $37, $38 million to turn down $35. Keep it in relative terms. You can't say because I make $100,000 and Dak is turning down $35 million, you get upset. Put it in context of what you do as opposed to what he does. You think you're smart, Skip, baby. You think you're slick.
I don't think I'm smart. I think I'm fair as opposed to you. You just want my salary cap wrecked because you hate my Dallas Cowboys, and that's okay. I accept that. I feel sorry for you, but it's okay. I don't want to see my cap wrecked by overpaying Dak Prescott. I love him, but I don't think he deserves more than Patrick Mahomes. Do you? Do you want to see him get more than Mahomes eventually is going to get?
Hold on, Skip. First of all, Skip, let me ask you a question. Do you know Lee Steinberg personally? Because I haven't heard anything mention what Patrick Mahomes wants. So why do you keep referencing Patrick Mahomes? See, that's what you're trying. What?
Lee Steinberg has been one of my closest friends in the world. And back in the 70s here in L.A., we both started in this business together. And the first thing he taught me when we were both just barely starting, the one thing he learned quickly is, because he represented almost all quarterbacks cannot hold out. They're the face of the franchise. It never works for the quarterback to hold out. It damages the relationship. It sours the locker room. It will not benefit either side if the quarterback holds out. That's why I'm in shock. I thought Dak would at least negotiate in good faith, where he will go ahead and do the virtual OTAs with the new coach, Mike McCarthy. Yeah, they got an offer on the table right now that would make him the top-paid quarterback. What's not to understand or like about that?
Let me ask you a question. Why would you go to a podium and say Dak Prescott's going to need to work with me? Why not go to Dak Prescott? Why do you need to make that public? Why do you need to try to turn the fan base against Dak that says if he doesn't give us a discount, he doesn't care about winning, he's being selfish? Why would you do that if you're negotiating in good faith?
Because you want your customers, your fans, to know that all the analytics say if you overpay the quarterback, you will dramatically decrease your chances under the salary cap to win a championship, because we did this yesterday on the show. I don't have time to go back into it. All the numbers show if you overpay your quarterback, you can't win Super Bowls. Last 5 years that it's been consistent, doesn't work.
So let me ask you a question. When Dak Prescott was grossly underpaid, where was your Super Bowl trophies?
I'm sorry, say it again. When he was what?
When Dak Prescott for the last 4 years was grossly underpaid, where is the Super Bowl trophy when your quarterback took up less than 1% of the cap? Where is the Super Bowl trophy for that?
Okay, Shannon, they just ratified a new CBA, and under the old rules, when Dak was drafted 2016, that's how it worked. If you're a fourth-round draft pick, you only get X. Then it becomes Y and Z, and it's not great. Right. Okay, but that's how the system works. I can't change the system. The players all said yes to the system.
But now, hold on. But now you want to change the system to say how much a quarterback can make. Now, you can't change the system that you get paid X if you get drafted in this round. Now I'm a free agent. You want to change that. You should only be able to get this. I want to know, where are your Super Bowl
You're not a free
trophies?
agent.
Yes, he is.
You're not a free agent. Well, he's got the
you put the
franchise tag on him. I'm sorry. Yeah. You're not free.
I get
I'm
that.
Sorry.
But I still want you to tell me, I want you to show me the Super Bowl trophy the Cowboys won when Dak Prescott took up less than 1%. You say you can't win if he takes up 14%. So you should have 4 trophies in your case now when he took up less than 1%. Show me the trophies. I need to see the trophies.
I never said he was the best quarterback in football. I said he can be a top 10. I got him ranked right now 10th. You said he was garbage. You said he was below average. You have given him Fs consistently on this show. You don't like Dak Prescott, and you're trying to defend him to get more money than Patrick Mahomes?
No,
homeboy? Are you serious?
I don't let, because I like a team, determine whether or not I evaluate them fairly. You know that, I know that. But all I'm saying, so the analytics. So if you make it less than 1%, there's no guarantee you win the Super Bowl. Just like if somebody takes 20% of the cap, there's no guarantee that you won't win the Super Bowl. Correct? So in other words, it's just wishful thinking.
No, I twice liked their chances. I liked them in 2016 and 2018. And in 2016, Dak Prescott played his tail off against Aaron Rodgers, threw for 305 yards, had them up 31-28. I'm sorry, it was 31-all. And then you know the rest of the story. Mason Crossbar hit 2 intergalactic field goals that cost the Cowboys the game from 56 and 51 yards. Both of them look pretty lucky to me. And then 2 years ago out here at the Coliseum, Dak Prescott played his tail off, and the defense did not show up, or they might have advanced. I think they could have gone deep in the playoffs. He's been really good in stretches. He was not really good last year. He deserves the money that's on the table because it is really, really good.
I'm just asking a simple question. There was nobody trumpeting for Dak when he was underpaid like they want to come out against him. Now he's about to get this payday, and Skip Bayless is number one. He never said Dak was underpaid. You never said that. All you said was Dak is Brady-esque. See, you got to stop equating everything to Tom Brady. Well, Tom Brady did this. Well, Tom Brady did that. That was New England. That's Dallas. One guy, the owner, could have been New England before New England, but his ego wrecked that. And they could have had Coach Belichick with Jimmy Johnson before Belichick became Belichick. But ego. And again, that's what's going to cause Jerry Jones this situation. His ego.
No mercy.
The Clippers' most important play of the season came on Christmas Day, up 3 points with under 10 seconds left. Patrick Beverley blocked LeBron's game-tying 3 attempt to seal the win. And Shannon, I know you remember it. How much did this play mean for the Clippers?
Well, because the difference is, Jenny, is that the Lakers season isn't based on whether or not they beat the Clippers. The Clippers seem to be hell-bent on beating the Lakers because they're looked at as tenants in a building that's occupied by the Lakers. So it's always has been, always will be, big brother versus little brother. So they get that game meant way more to the Clippers than it did to the Lakers. Even when they win, you see, but we repaid the favor. I get Christmas Day, national audience. This was the second time they had beaten the Lakers, remember, opening night. And in both games, the Lakers was leading at one point in time in the fourth quarter. But, give the Clippers credit. They started making shots, did a great job on limiting the Lakers to one shot, and the Lakers couldn't buy a basket in the first 2 games. But we saw what happened when LeBron James says enough of this bull jive. I'm sick of you guys talking. Y'all talk about Giannis like he a Greek god. I'm the king. I rule over the NBA. And he took him down that Friday night and says, you know what? When Phil Handy says, okay, what we going to do about Kawhi? I got it. That's what we going to do about Kawhi. And he busted. He let you know he busted. Them in them old decrepit New Balance shoes, Skip Bayless. You saw what we did when it mattered.
No.
Now, I'm trying to figure out where was Pat Bev Skip in this last game. Because remember, he got subbed out with 6:49 left, and he came back in 1 defensive possession. He had 2 points. In other words, the defensive guy, the irritant, became unplayable. So that's fine and good. And if I bet you, when it came down to it, this was the play because of who it came against. They got so good. They had a parade. up and down Hollywood about we beat the Lakers on Christmas, we beat the Lakers on Christmas, and it made them feel good. They ain't do nothing for us. It don't move the needle. We know we the best in the West, and we gonna prove it. Soon as we start this thing back up, on our way to get another chip, number 4 for LeBron, 4 Finals MVP.
By the way, in that third game you speak of, LeBron, quote-unquote, busted up Kawhi thanks to Avery Bradley making, what was it, like 12 threes? Every time I looked up, Avery Bradley made another three. Yeah, Kawhi actually outplayed LeBron in the third game also, but I'll get to Kawhi and LeBron in just a moment because I got to go back to my man, Pat Bev. This play on Christmas Day was the play of the year for the upstart Los Angeles Clippers. On this play, a little 6'1" guy who started off his pro career 4 years overseas, playing in Greece, Ukraine, Russia. That little man went right up into 6'9" LeBron James and made the king look like a court jester on this play. I mean, you might say that little Pat Bev actually bullied LeBron James on the play of the year for the Clippers. So what happened on this play? LeBron was going to bring the ball up into position to shoot a three, but I thought he brought it up a little timidly, without much conviction or authority or force to jerk it up and get it in a set position and shoot a three like he meant it. Go ahead.
That's not a Skip. Nobody shoots like that. Nobody jerks the ball up to shoot the ball through the motion like that. Skip, come on now. That's not a normal shooting motion. He was going up with his normal shooting motion.
If you got a 6'1" guy on you, you got to get the ball past his hands. So Pat Bev snakes his hand out, gets all ball, and gets enough of the ball that he knocks it back through LeBron's hands, out of bounds, off LeBron, back over his head. I've never seen anything quite like it on the play of the game on Christmas night. Whoa. So 6'1", blocked 6'9", off 6'9's hands, out of bounds. It was the statement play of the year for the upstart Clippers. It's one of the great statement plays I've ever seen on Christmas Day when we always say the NBA season is just getting going. That launched the Clippers into a mindset of we can play with them. But more important was the bigger issue of what happened after LeBron James hit his last shot with 6:39 left. He hit a 2-point jump shot. I'll give him that. Way to go, LeBron. It put the Lakers up 7 points. Again, if you give Michael Jordan a 7-point lead over your arch rival on basically a neutral floor, Michael Jordan's not going to spit that one up. I'm sorry. So guess what happened to LeBron James down the stretch? He went 0 for 3, all from 3, and he went 1 for 2 from the free throw line. So over the last 6:39 of this game, LeBron once again melted down. Meanwhile, my man Kawhi Leonard scored 9 points over the last 6:39. He made a 3, he made a 2, and he made 4 free throws, went 4 for 4 from the free throw line, something LeBron probably could never do under pressure down the stretch in a big rivalry game. So Kawhi scored 9 points down the stretch to 1 point for LeBron James, and then little Pat Bev capped it off, playing with his heart and his soul and his guts, playing with that dog in him that barks so loudly, especially against LeBron James, and he blocked the shot off LeBron out of bounds. Wow, I could not make that up. Only in Hollywood on Christmas night could that play happen. Way to go, Patrick Beverley.
Look, Nate Robinson at 5'8", 5'9", blocked Yao Ming at 7'5.5". A 5'9" went up and blocked Yao Ming at 7'5.5". Skip, if you play long enough, you're probably gonna have a shot block. You're gonna get dunked on. That's what happens. It's just like in the NFL. Somebody's going to make a circus catch, but you also going to get your block knocked off if you play receiver or tight end. Those things happen. You like to make people think that anything that negative happened to LeBron is only unique to LeBron. Like Michael Jordan has never had a shot block. Michael Jordan never lost a game. He never missed a game-winning shot. He never had a struggle. He struggled the last 2 games in the finals against the Seattle Supersonics. He was 6-19, 6-21. So what was that, Skip? You got to. This was not about. And every time it comes up about anything that LeBron is in, you try to make it a competition. Skip, we're still painting our masterpiece. When it's said and done, I'll let you know, and then we can compare. But what we're working on is better than the Mona Lisa. That will not be the most sought-after piece of artwork in the world. What we finish will be the most sought-after masterpiece. And we're not even done doing it yet. We're still adding colors. We're still adding the finishing touches on it. We're about 3 years away from finishing this thing.
Patrick Beverley painted a mustache on the Mona Lisa on Christmas night on national TV for everyone to see. And I ask you, Shannon Sharp, did Nate Robinson block Yao Ming on a potential game-tying shot? No. Did Michael Jordan ever get blocked on a potential game-tying shot? No. Did LeBron James get blocked by Mario Hezonja at Madison Square Garden 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Or just last basketball season on a game-winning shot? Yes, he got blocked by Mario Hezonja.
You trying to do, Skip?
What?
What you've done, what you've been able to do is that you've been able to add value to Michael Jordan losses. See, if he lose, that was Michael Jordan. It happens. LeBron James is how he lost in such a dramatic fashion. Michael Jordan would have never lost. But you say the same thing at the end. A loss. LeBron lost. Michael Jordan lost. You see, what you've tried to do is that you've tried to add value. And a lot of people have added value to Michael Jordan losses. He scored 63. He caught the L. He scored 49. He caught the L. So I'm just trying to figure, at what point in time do we say a loss is a loss? Because we have a hard time doing that with Michael Jordan. But LeBron, oh my goodness, Michael Jordan would have never lost. Oh, but he did. But he scored 63. So we add value to losses? I thought, yes.
Wait a second. Michael Jordan scored 63 against Larry Bird's Celtics on their way to winning the NBA championship. It was the team Larry said was my best team in Boston, in my whole Boston run. And after that game, Larry Bird said that was Michael Jordan disguised as God. Nobody ever said that's LeBron James disguised as God.
But he lost. Skip, the accolades, the hyperbole means nothing if you catch the L. Tom Brady in that Super Bowl against the Eagles was throwing like God. He was God-esque. 505, but he called an L.
Yep, he was.
The L at the end of the day. How did you finish that statement? Larry Bird said he was Jesus, God, in sneakers. He said that was his most impressive team, but we hung the L on Mike. So at the end of the day, if you finish up by saying you lost, nothing else matters.
Well, Shannon, you lost to the Clippers.
We're going to leave it. We're going to leave it.
No mercy.
Well, in a recent interview, Reggie Bush warned up-and-coming athletes that more money and fame might create more problems. Reggie said, quote, "The one thing I wish I had early in my career is proper financial knowledge. People just assume, well, you got all this money, so you're good. It's actually the opposite. The more money you have, the more danger you're in." Shannon, I want to start with you. How much do these quotes hit home with you?
It's a lot. It happens a lot, Jenny, because a lot of us come from very similar backgrounds. And I'm speaking like Reggie. I'm African-American man, as everybody knows. And we come a lot of times from very impoverished backgrounds. And what we want to do, Skip, is that we want to provide a life that we never would have enjoyed had we not been in this situation. We want to give and to help those people that helped us along the way, be it mom, dad, brother, and sister. So we become very giving, not knowing that we're not going to do this forever, although in the beginning, we think we are. And it's so hard to say no. Mama, you want a house? How big of a house? Dad, you want a car? What type of car? Not knowing that, like, wait a minute. And, you know, you got a homeboy, this and that. But, and Reggie says he's had good people around me. Skip, I've had the same agents I had one since Marvin Demoss since 96. I've been with Jamie Prince since 1999. But here's the trick to that, Skip. My financial advisor can offer me all the advice he wants. Who made that money? Me. So if he says, well, Shannon, I'd advise you not to do that, and I go do it, how is that the financial advisor's fault? All my life, whatever I bought, be it house, car, or whatever investment that I've made, I run it by Marvin. We come out, Skip, at the beginning of the year in January. He says, okay, well, Shannon, what are you thinking? I says, this is what I want to do, yada, yada, yada. He says, well, you can spend this, which is X. Since 1996, Skip, when he told me I could spend X, I've never spent Y and Z. Never. And that is the key to having financial success, is that I don't say, well, Marvin, I really want this. I think this is what. No. Now, Skip, have I made some bad investments? Yes. Before I met Marvin? Yes. And it cost me. It's money that I'm never going to make up. And now I'm more cautious. Yeah, there have been opportunities, Skip, and if I'd have cashed in on it, hell, I could have been on a beach in Costa Rica somewhere. But that's neither here nor there. You got to be smart. And you got to be willing to tell people no, Skip. Because for me, when it comes to giving money, and I say give, Skip, you notice I didn't say lend. I say when it comes to giving money, I always look, how much could I give and tolerate it knowing that I'm not going to get it back? And that's how I base everything. If I have to worry about, man, you're not going to be able to pay me back, I'm not going to give it to you. Because I'm only giving money that I know I'm not going to get back. So for my homeboys, when they ask, bucket, bruh, I already know I'm not going to get it back, but I'm cool with it. That's the way you have to look at it, Skip. And he's right. More money, more problems. And it's just not athletes, Skip. Anytime someone thinks you have something of value, be it a professional athlete, you be an entertainer, you could be in the music business, it happens. You're a target, and people want something for nothing. And you just have to be very mindful of that.
So I loved what our man Reggie Bush told Playboy. He laid out a cautionary tale for every young, let's do college football player who might eventually get paid in college, even before they get paid in the NFL. And Reggie is saying it's not easy. If you all of a sudden have money and you don't know how to handle money, you're going to be a target, and it's potentially going to be a disaster for you. So, Shannon, over my lengthy career, I've known literally hundreds of NFL players. I've interacted with them. And to all your points, the common thread among all of them is, I wish I'd known how to handle my money early. Most don't. You know how to play football. You knew how to catch footballs. Right. You had high football IQ. You really got the game from the inside out. So you could teach and coach football if need be, but handling money as a financial advisor, well, you don't really know that because you hadn't had any to start with, and it is not simple. It's not simple for any of us. And allow me to tell just a quick story on my little level. I didn't come from your background, but I didn't come from money either. And all of a sudden in 1982 in Dallas, Texas, I found myself in the middle of the last great newspaper war in this country. Dallas Morning News, where I was the columnist, versus Dallas Times-Herald. And in 1982, the Times-Herald hired me away from the Morning News for what at that time was seen as outrageous, extraordinary money. Money no newspaper columnist had ever been paid. The Wall Street Journal did a front page story about it, and all of a sudden I'm getting calls from financial advisors in Dallas, and I'm thinking, I guess I need one. And I picked the wrong one. And right away, he convinced me to invest $50,000, which in 1982 was an outrageous sum, only in Texas, in an oil well. And he said, I'm going to put my money in it too. I don't know if he did or didn't, because I never saw a penny of my $50,000. It went right down the toilet. And my point was, I'm with you. I always look back at that $50,000 and think, if I had conservatively invested it wisely, I don't know, maybe I'd be so much better off. It wasn't until 1994 that I finally signed on with Beard Harris, which I think is the best financial management firm in this country, and they turned all my finances around to this day, and thank you for doing that. But I hope all of these young football players know enough to know you've got to go to the top. You've got to pay for the best representation. It cannot be fly-by-night. And in the end, you have to know, like Reggie said, he thought he hired a good team. Well, obviously, they didn't make good decisions because Reggie wound up playing 11 years in the NFL. And I looked last night, the estimate was he made $63 million. And his quote was, people just assume, well, you got all this money, so you're good. He said, it's actually the opposite because that money can disappear like that. And especially Reggie now at age 35 has 3 fairly young kids. Well, it's expensive, as you know, to live out here in L.A. with a wife and 3 children. It's tough. Yeah. So, again, I'm glad we're talking about this. I hope the kids out there are watching and thinking money is really not to be spent as much as it is to be saved initially.
When you skip, and I don't want people to think that you shouldn't enjoy your life, but you need to be cautious. Be cautious with it, because the thing is, Skip, is that when my brother and I, we made them, took care of my grandmother, why get a 10,000, 15,000 square foot home? Who's going to upkeep that? How about get them something that they can upkeep? You buy a car, get something. I bought my mom a car. I said, now, Mom, you're going to have to pay for the upkeep on this. You talking about you want this. Okay, I can buy you that. But are you going to be able to afford $2,000, $3,500 a year when it comes for maintenance? No, so, okay. Because I'm not going to buy you this and maintain this. It's got to be something you can maintain. Skip, it's hard to tell someone no when they've been there for you. But at the end of the day, Skip, and everybody said, man, whatever happened to all that money? I gave it away to you, jacklegs. I spent so much on you trying to make sure everything was taken care of with you. And now you go, Skip, look, I'll be the first to admit, Skip, I really never wanted to own a business. I really didn't, because I don't have the time to be there to oversee it like it's supposed to be done. And then who do you trust? You get a bunch of homeboys, they're going to be handing out liquor to their friends. Hey, come in and get a drink, it's on me. Handing out meat at the back door. I know people that run very, very profitable business. And the thing is, Shannon, it's not an easy proposition. I would advise against it. Well, you very successful. If you tell me I shouldn't do it, that's good enough for me, Skip. But you have to be in a situation to tell people no, and you're going to have to even tell yourself no. Because at some point in time, why do you need 5 cars? Skip, I'll never forget this, Skip. I was staying in my grandmother's house, Skip. Now, I'm laying up in a back room. And I'm thinking, Skip, I got a Ferrari, a 512, the same one that you saw Michael Jordan have in that documentary. I had that car. Yeah. I had an S500 and a Blazer parked in my grandmother's driveway, and I didn't own a house. And I'm thinking, I say, Shannon, you the biggest damn fool in America. You got $500,000 in cars, and you ain't got a place to stay. If you don't get you know what? I called my agent. I said, man, find me a house. He said, where you want to live? I said, find me a place in Atlanta. And Skip, I got out my grandmother's house, and I said, I'm done with this. I don't need 5 cars. I don't need 6 cars. I said, now for moving forward, Skip, the only people I'm putting through college are my kids. I ain't putting nobody else's kids through college. You know what I'm talking about, Skip, and I think the viewers at home know what I'm talking about. But I got smart. But I made a lot of mistakes along the way. And, Skip, I was very fortunate that I was able to play long enough to try to get to be financial solvent again. I said, but now at this juncture of my life, nah, I can't afford no mistakes like that, because I have less time to recoup that as opposed to when I was 24, 25. Nah, bro, y'all need to be smart. Sometimes you're going to have to tell mom, you're going to have to tell grandma, you're going to have to tell sister, brother, no. But for me, that was it's hard decision to tell family no, especially, Skip, because they've been there. But I'm very fortunate. Me and my brother, there's only 3 of us. My sister, the oldest, we take care of my sister. Because I believe she had the hardest job, Skip. So my brother and our minds could be at ease. She had to take care of Granny, because that was the most important thing. That's why we was doing this. So I never worried about, what's going on with Granny, because I know Libby was going to hold the fort down. And so it made it easier for my brother and I. But you're going to have to say no sometimes. and you're going to have to say no more often than you say yes in order to be 50, 60 years old and be like, man, he played in the NFL. He still look good. He ain't destitute. He ain't broke.
Wow. Good life lessons on Undisputed for all of us, guys. I appreciate the honesty from both Skip and Shannon. That was really interesting. I learned a lot.
No mercy.
NASCAR is back, guys, and it continues tonight with the Gander Outdoor Truck Series. And tomorrow, it's the NASCAR Cup Series live from Charlotte Motor Speedway beginning at 8 Eastern on FS1. So, ESPN's NFL Preseason Power Index came out with the defending champion Chiefs at the top. Following in second was the Ravens, then the 49ers to round out the top three. Tom Brady's Buccaneers came in the A spot just ahead of the Patriots at number 9. So, Shannon, when you look at these rankings, what do you think? Do you agree?
I think they're both a little high, Skip. I had the Vikes and the Packers ahead of both of these teams. Man, Skip, they really love Coach Belichick, and they must be believed that he's going to do an outstanding job to have this team ranked in the top 10 after what they lost. Forget just Tom Brady. Now, obviously, you can't say they lost Gronk because Gronk didn't play for them last year, but you lost Tom on the offensive side, and then you lose all those defections on the defensive side of the football. So what they're telling me is that they have the utmost belief and confidence in Coach Belichick that he's going to coach this team. Skip, Coach Belichick, if he wins 10 games, he should be the coach of the year. After what they lost, he should be the coach of the year. Like I said, Tampa, they gave him a 63% chance. They gave the Patriots a 60% chance of making the playoffs. Skip. Man, I'm looking at the Patriots, man. I don't know. I think I want to redo on my 5 cases to do against the Bucs, having a better record. I don't know. I might have to rethink that. But I think honestly, Skip, I do think they're both high. But I'm surprised that the Patriots are in the top 10. I'm surprised that the Bucs are in the top 10. If anything, Skip, I would have them. I think I got the Vikes and the Packers up ahead of Tampa also. So I would have them maybe slightly outside of the top 10. But still, for the Patriots to be that high, this is only because of Coach Belichick.
Football Power Index loves the Patriots in ways I don't fathom. But because of that,
I don't even get...
because it's 8-9 Tampa to New England, if you want, we could up our bet right now. We could make it 10 cases that Tampa has a better record than New England. If you'd like, I don't know, Football Power Index says you're on the right track, Shannon Sharp. I can't see it. In fact, I think this is preposterous. All I know is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers gained Tom Brady while the New England Patriots lost Tom Brady. And speaking of GOATs, the GOAT of tight ends left New England, and now he's in Tampa. Bill Belichick did next to nothing to significantly improve his team. And by all accounts, it looks like he's going to start Jarrett Stidham at quarterback. It could be Brian Hoyer, 6 of one, half dozen the other. Jarrett Stidham's never started, obviously, a game in the National Football League. Last seen on a football field, he was struggling in his second year at Auburn, which is why he fell to the 4th round. I don't get it. There was a big exodus on defense for Belichick. They lost Danny Shelton, Landon Roberts, Jamie Collins, Kyle Van Noy, and Deron Harmon. That's a lot. And I don't see significant upgrades. So you're right. Belichick has positioned himself to be the coach of the year for the first time since, I think, 2010, first time in 10 years. I'll give you that. But if I had to rank the Patriots right now, I'd say they're maybe, I'll give you 15th best. They're somewhere in the middle of the pack. And I'll give you, in part, because it's still Bill Belichick. And there's still some playmakers, Devin McCourty, Stephon Gilmore, in the backside of the defense. Other than that, I don't get it. And if you give me Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski on an offense that led the league in passing last year with Jameis Winston, I got something. And Todd Bowles' defense was coming alive down the stretch last year. I think they're going to be pretty good. I thought their draft was very good. So all of a sudden, I'm saying, wait a second. You're saying they're only the 8th best team in pro football? Shannon, I got them ranked 3rd. I'll give you Kansas City, defending champ. I'll give you Baltimore, the best team in the league last year. I'm going to give me Tampa as the 3rd best team right now. So I got Tampa 3rd. I got New England. I'll give you 15th. And that's it.
Well, Skip, with the list, and I was like, what I tried to do is I tried to write, because we added this, and Skip, I just tried to write down the teams who I thought. And Skip, I mean, Chiefs, Ravens, Saints, Seahawks, 49ers, Eagles was like instantaneous. And then I was like, I just started thinking, I was like, okay, the Vikes, they still going to be formidable, although they did lose Diggs. I say the Packers. But Skip, they got the Patriots picked to win 8.6 games. Well, you know, you can't win 8.6. And they got the Buccaneers to win 9.1. So basically they're saying that the Patriots are only a half game worse than Tampa. Mm-hmm. That's got to be Coach Belichick, Skip, because when you look at it offensively, there's nobody on the offense for the Patriots that you would take over anybody on the Bucs offense. None. And you look at the front line, I'm going to take Shaq Barrett over just about everybody, maybe except Stephon Gilmore. I might take a pass rusher because he's closer to the quarterback because I can stay away from Stephon Gilmore and pick on someone else. How do you drop back the pass and not have to worry about Shaq Barrett? And then you don't have JPP. So they have weapons on that side. The only thing is, Skip, is that they're giving so much credence to Coach Belichick that they're saying he's basically the difference between of a half game. Basically, if anybody else was coaching this team, Skip, after the defections, that's a 4 or 5 win team. Tops.
No mercy.
It's been 15 years since we've seen Mike Tyson in the ring, but after posting training videos, the former champ might be making a comeback. According to reports, Tyson was offered $20 million earlier this month from the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Shannon, are you surprised that Tyson would get offered $20 million to fight?
Well, Skip, I don't really know much about the Bare Knuckle Confederation or anything like that, but I'm sure he would come out of his couch. I just want to know who the hard head that think they're going to get in the ring and beat him. It's hard enough to take punches from a guy with gloves on. Can you imagine getting cracked upside the noggin with bare knuckles and Mike Tyson throwing with the force that he's throwing with, Skip? Man, I don't know. If I'm Mike Tyson, put the money in the account and I'm there.
Shannon, it sounds like Bare Knuckle is about to make a pay-per-view run at UFC. If they're going to give this man $20 million, yet I'll watch, but I agree, who's going to fight him? Maybe they'll have to get a grizzly bear to fight Mike Tyson. I don't know. I'd watch that. But I was going to volunteer you, Shannon Sharp. You fight him. I will manage you, but I get 10% of the purse. How about that?
No. Not, Skip.
Yeah.
You know what? And I'm going to knock on wood that I'm never going to need money that bad that I'm going to have to take an ass cutting that might end me up in a wheelchair for survival. Nah, I'm good. Skip, I don't have the most money, but let me tell you what I do have. I have enough. And I'm good. So no chances of me getting in the ring with Mike Tyson.
I don't know. Maybe you could get $5 million for it. I'd get $500,000.
No.
Skip,
I don't need money like that.
Yeah.
Skip, I'm good. Trust me. Skip, listen to me. I'm good. I've done a very good job of investing my money.
No
Tarzan, tell him we good.
No one. We're not getting in the ring with Tyson. Good stuff, guys. That's it for Undisputed. We'll be back same time tomorrow. Have a good day, guys.